Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be why it would never be enough. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So I'm referring to the narcissist. It will never be enough. It would never be enough, and it can never be enough for them. The narcissist has an insatiable quench or a quest for supply. And there is no amount of supply that will ever top them up, that will ever keep them satisfied. When you were in that relationship with them, let's say that you were a very successful person in your profession or your field. Maybe you were a doctor, a lawyer, maybe you were a teacher, maybe you were an administrator. Who knows what your job was, your 9-to-5 job was. But the point is, that was never enough for the narcissist either. You see, what made you you would never be enough for the narcissist. They were always trying to tear you down. They were always trying to be in competition with you. They were always looking at you as the opposition. Now, in the beginning of that relationship, perhaps you actually fell in love with the narcissist. We now know the narcissist cannot fall in love with you or anybody, and they have no empathy, and they only care about one person, which is themselves. But when you fell in love with a person who does not have the ability to fall in love with you, that is a very daunting task, to say the least, because you didn't know what narcissism was. You weren't taught this in school, so you didn't have the definitions in the glossary on the terms of the narcissistic abusive cycle, such as what is triangulation, my least favorite thing that these people do, or the smear campaign, or stonewalling, or the silent treatment, etc. You now have the definitions, or you are learning them, and you're coupling them with your experience in the narcissistic relationship, and that adds up to wisdom. You have to apply your wisdom that you've acquired, or you are acquiring, to present day, and to add it to your life, and now you need to have boundaries, etc. But the whole point why it would never be enough for the narcissist, they would tell you anything that they wanted to tell you to get you into that relationship, to love bomb you or throw the euphoric stage at you. And once they knew that they had their dirty fangs sunken into you, i.e. when you professed to them that you loved them, or you wanted to move in with them, or yes, you would start a business, or you would start a family, or you could move halfway around the world with them, etc. Once you did one of those pivotal things, that's when they knew they had you. That's when they knew it was the no turning back point for you. Now keep in mind, every narcissistic relationship, for the narcissist, they have one foot in it and one foot out of that relationship. And that includes when you were in the love bomb / euphoric stage, because they weren't just grooming you, they were grooming other sources of supply along with you. You just did not know about the other sources of supply. Remember, supply doesn't need to be romantic, and you didn't need to be married to the narcissist. The narcissist could be your sister, could be your mom, could be a neighbor, colleague, coworker, person in a hobby group and or community you were a part of, could be somebody in your church, could be somebody you work with. The narcissist is all around you. You didn't know that back then. You do know it now, and now you understand that you do need to have boundaries. You cannot overshare. You cannot trust everybody to the same level that you trust certain people, because when you were in that narcissistic relationship, one thing you were doing, I can assure you, is you were trusting that the narcissist was who they proclaimed to be. Now remember, the narcissist wears a mask usually. They have people take a bite of the forbidden fruit and have people enter these relationships thinking that that person, who was you at one point, just met the best person on the planet, and that relationship was going to be spectacular. It was going to be amazing, almost too good to be true. Because why? That's right, because it was too good to be true. And the narcissist could not keep that mask super glued to their face any longer than they needed to, which was when they finally got you to tell them that you fell in love with them or relocated, etc. But once the narcissist knew they had you, the game, the chase was over for them. That's when they began to also not only look for new sources of supply, but they began to play with you and keep you stuck in that devaluation stage. And it would never be enough for the narcissist. The narcissist collects people. They collect broken hearts. They collect relationships. They collect people's time and money and energy and empathy and everything that makes people people. That's what the narcissist collects. But it will never be enough, because the narcissist considers this thing called life a game of accumulation. They want to take, and take. And when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right, they want to take more. They want to take anything they possibly can from anybody. And when they placed somebody in that trauma bond or the devaluation stage, they really do a number on them. They really do damage to them. And when that person is in love with the narcissist, or that person loves the narcissist, it's so debilitating and so challenging, because the one person that you are believing in, the one person that you did believe in, is the one person that is administering all of the abuse and all the toxicity, and that turned out to be the narcissist. So you did trust the narcissist when you were in that relationship. You believed in their words. You believed that they would change. You believed that they had your best interest at heart, and etc. You now know that the narcissist is at the top of the list of the people that do not have your best interest at heart. They didn't then, they don't now, and they never will in the future. And there are three kinds of people on the planet. There are the people that are indifferent about you, which means they don't care about you one way or the other. They're indifferent. They don't wish you harm and they don't wish you good luck. They're just like, whatever. These are the people that most likely you don't even know because they don't know you exist. Then there are people that have your best interest at heart, and you are figuring out that that list of people that do have your best interest at heart, that's a very short list. Tough pill to swallow, but it's real. Then you have people that are actually trying to do damage to you, i.e. the narcissist. These people want to do anything they can because they're envious of you, they're jealous of you, at times they want to be you. But what they don't want is your beautiful, bright, shining light to be shining way high above the sun, the moon, and the stars, because the narcissist wanted to capture your beautiful, bright, shining light, or your positive energy, empathy, love, and everything, and they wanted to keep it repressed under their thumb for as long as they could. That's why the narcissist vibrates in a low vibrational state. It's lower than your shoe. You vibrate in a high vibrational state, higher than the sun, the stars, and the moon. But you didn't know back then what you know now. And one thing you're now realizing is that it would never be enough. Let's go back to the relationship when you were in it. You could have owned your own country. You could have been the king or queen of any country. You could have been the president. You could have had the most money on the planet. That would even then never be enough if you were in a relationship with a narcissist, because they would find any angle they could. Let's say that you owned your own country. They would find a way to tell you things like this. Oh, well, you own your own country. That's great, but it's not nearly as big as this country, or there aren't as many people in it, or the weather's not good there, or the sun doesn't shine that often, etc. See, they would find anything they could to have you doubt that even though you owned your own country, and this may not be the best example, but it is the one I'm using, that it still wouldn't be good enough. Same thing with money. Let's say you had a whole boatload of money, a lot of money, whatever that number is in your mind, and the narcissist knew that. Well, first of all, they're going to try and extract your money from you, because what do they care more about than money? They care more about your money and taking your money from you. So that's part one. But part two would be, let's say you had a couple $1 million. Okay, well, that's not enough. They would say so-and-so has $10 million, so you're not that special. But the whole time they're telling you that, they would be trying to take your money from you, asking you to whisk them away or buy them trips or buy them a new car or a house or beach house, whatever it would be. And again, this is how the narcissist has you doubting yourself. This is how you lose your identity to the narcissist. This is how you lose your sense of self to the narcissist. This is how the narcissist plants seeds of doubt, seeds of dishonesty, seeds of wondering, seeds of being unsure of yourself. The narcissist knows, and I know, and now you know, that it will never be enough for the narcissist, because the narcissist will blow up any relationship they enter. Each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. We now know that. And when you were in that relationship, you did not know what narcissism was. You didn't know that your relationship had an expiration date. But on top of all that, you didn't know that it would never be enough. No matter what you did, it would never be enough. You could have won all the awards on the planet. You could have all the money. Like I said, you could own your own country, whatever. It would never be enough. They would still be triangulating you with other people that do or don't exist. They would still be comparing you with other sources of supply and other people. They would still be saying how, yeah, maybe you have a lot of money, but did you earn it? Or was it given to you? Or did you inherit it? Like, they will always look to poke a hole in anything that makes you you. And again, using these examples that I shared with you, this is how childish the narcissist is. This is why they are trapped in their own tiny little pea brain. This is why the cycle and the loop of abuse just goes around and around and around. And it will always go around, unfortunately, but it will go around without you in it. Because now my hope is that you've gone no contact, you've blocked these people, deleted them, removed all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? Remember, if you can't block them, or you're not quite ready to do it yet, or your circumstances won't allow you, utilize gray rock, become dull and boring, and get off the radar of the narcissist. Do not overshare, don't defend, don't explain, don't give them your emotions, don't let them know anything about you if you can do that. Because it will never be enough. Think about the time you spent in the narcissistic relationship, all the time that you gave to the narcissist, waiting for them to get out of work when you would pick them up, waiting for them to get ready before you would drive them to work, waiting for their text, waiting for their phone call, waiting for them to come home, waiting to see if they would be at the dinner table with you after you spent 2 hours cooking dinner after working 10-hour shift on a Friday evening, and they would tell you, yeah, I'll be home at 7. and you got the dinner ready at 7 and they didn't show up till 10:30 because they had to stay at work late, wink, wink. All of these things you did, it would never be enough. And the narcissist was always testing you. They were testing your mentality. They were testing your perspective. They were testing your mindset. They were testing your health. They were testing your bank account. They were testing your relationships, meaning the relationships you had with your kids or stepkids or immediate family members or friends or colleagues. They were seeing if you were participating in your hobbies. They were seeing if you were exercising. They were watching you really close. They were studying you, and they were also doing it from afar. Let's talk about the texting games of the narcissist, which again, it would never be enough for the narcissist. Remember, an average human being has one smartphone. Maybe some people don't have the smartphone now, I get it, but most people have one these days, or a lot of people have them. But the narcissist can't have just one smartphone. They have to have 1, 2, 3 smartphones. That's not even counting a laptop, a desktop, an iPad or a tablet, etc. Because the narcissist needs to have other means to communicate with people on social media, on platforms, on dating apps, etc. Because this is how they keep people stuck. This is what the narcissist does. And going back to social media and the apps on what the narcissist would, how they use these things, is the texting games of the narcissist. Many times, this is when you were in the relationship, or maybe when the relationship was beginning, or maybe even after it ended, before you went no contact. The narcissist would text you something. They would ask you a question, and you'd be scratching your head saying, "What is that? That doesn't even make sense. Why are you asking me about something from 5 years ago?" Or "Why was this text meant for me?" Well, first of all, that's meant to confuse you. Just like right there when I give you the example, I kind of sounded confused. I'm not. But when you're in the narcissistic relationship and you're reading texts that may or may not be sent to you on purpose, it's quite confusing, specifically if you don't know what narcissism is. But that random text, that could have been meant to send, maybe they wanted to send that to you. Maybe it was a copy paste. They send it to multiple people and they wanted to see who got back to them first. But going back to the texting games of the narcissist, many times you would be replying to the narcissist, and the narcissist would write you 1 or 2 sentences. How's your day? Where are you? What's going on? What time are you coming home? Basic, boring things like that. And by the way, side note, pro tip, the narcissist is one of the most extremely boring people on the planet. Drop comments below if you know what I'm talking about. There's nothing to these people. All they do is mimic back to people what other people's hopes, dreams, aspirations, and ideas are. But getting back on track, when the narcissist would text you that, then what you would do is you would put down everything you were doing. You would drop everything that you were doing in a moment's notice, and you would text them back a monologue, maybe a couple paragraphs, and you would make sure the spelling was proper, and you would make sure that you had all the T's crossed and the I's dotted and etc. Because you needed to report back to them every detail of what you were doing or what the question was that they wanted you to answer. And then what would happen at the end of your monologue that you would type back to them, because you were groomed and you were trained how to do that, you would ask them a question. What time are you coming home? Something like that. And what would happen? They would read it and they wouldn't reply, or they would read it and they would write the letter K, or they would read it and say, not sure. They would leave you hanging. You'd be wondering. And that's why another thing is with these narcissists, the texting games go on and on and on. That's why the path is to block them. But why I said that is the texting nonsense that the narcissist administers to their targets, it will never be enough. The narcissist loves texting. They love hanging up on people. They love grabbing people's attention. They love taking people's attention away from what they should be doing. Example, their exercise, their hobbies, their work, their job, raising kids, etc. What they want to do is disrupt people's energy. And they did disrupt your energy for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship, but no longer can they do that. Or at least that's my hope, that they can't do that with you any longer, because you're out of the relationship, you're out of the loop, you're out of the cycle, and you're healing, or you have healed. That is the path. The path is to leave these people in the past, to take the lifelong learning lessons from the relationship, to not predict the future, to live in the present moment, and to understand and identify that that relationship almost took you down for the count, but it didn't. You are still here. You are stronger than ever. You are entering the third version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind, and you are changed forever. You are galvanized. And that narcissistic relationship was the most toxic, challenging relationship you had ever been a part of, which is why it is the relationship you need to heal from. The narcissist has nothing to heal from. All they do is slither away onto the new supply, and on and on and on. But why it would never be enough for the narcissist, you really need to be kind to yourself, because it doesn't matter how much money you did have, it wouldn't be enough. It didn't matter how many hours in a day there were. Maybe we could turn back time and make there be 48 hours in a day. instead of 24. And I know some people don't believe in time, but I do. But the point being is, if you could double the amount of time in the day, it still wouldn't be enough for the narcissist. They would still be doing their toxicity, and they would still be administering all of their poor behaviors. It's just that they would have twice the amount of time in a day to do it. Understand what I'm sharing with you. So you wouldn't have all the money that you had, wouldn't be enough. All the time you had, it wasn't enough. All of the commitment that you put into that relationship, it wouldn't be enough. All of the vows that you took, if you married the narcissist, they certainly were never enough. All the hours you spent raising the kids, it would never be enough. All the things you did for the narcissist, it would never be enough. Let's say the narcissist got sick. They had a health challenge, and you were there to nurse them back to health. And maybe it happened multiple times, who knows? But once they healed and they got healthy, number one, they would downplay that you were there to heal them or help them heal. Number two, they would say they didn't even need you. Number three, they would say, well, whatever, you're supposed to do that. And now flip it. If you had a health concern, was the narcissist there when you needed them? No, they weren't. They were nowhere to be found. They would disappear and hope that you didn't exist. They would disappear and hope that you didn't put yourself back together or get the medical help that you needed. It is so obvious when you see between the lines in the narcissistic relationship, when you actually are authentic and genuine with yourself and you understand that these people don't change. They only deteriorate over time. And staying in one of these relationships 1 minute longer than you need to, once you've identified what kind of relationship it is 1 minute too long, because it won't matter. There would never be enough. Nothing will ever be enough. Many times during one-on-one sessions, people will ask me, hey, if I did A, B, and C instead of X, Y, and Z, I could still be in that relationship. And what do you think would have happened then? And I pause and I look and I ponder, and I do know what the answer is, which was what I'll share with you right now. But the point is, and the truth of the matter is, yeah, you could have done different things and you could have stayed in that relationship longer, absolutely. But the truth of the matter is, why would you want to once you identify who that person is? Why would you want to when you know that it's a narcissistic relationship and you were taking a hit left, right, and center? Your finances, your health, your status, your network of friends, your social circle, everything about you was taking a hit, your assets, your money. So you wouldn't. But to answer the question a different way, and the same question is, yeah, you could have done different things, but all that would have done was prolong the inevitable, which was the ending of the narcissistic relationship. Maybe you could have done something a little different and you would have stayed in it another day, week, month, year, decade, but it just would have prolonged the inevitable, which was the ending of that relationship. Because remember, every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. You now are learning that, or you know it. So why would you want to prolong that relationship any longer when all it was doing to you was abusing you more and more and more? And you were becoming a shell of yourself, and you were being invalidated and devalued. You were being treated less than. Why? Because it would never be enough. It didn't matter what you did. It didn't matter what you did do or didn't do. It would never be enough. The narcissist was still going to get a new supply. The narcissist is still going to kick the new supply to the curb eventually, or that new supply is going to wise up and kick the narcissist to the curb. And then what will the narcissist do? They're just going to say next, they're going to have another person step up to become the new supply, which at one point that was you, and it certainly was me. You see, in these relationships with the toxic narcissistic person, there's no stability. There's no accountability. There's no growth. There's no togetherness. There's no us or we. It is always I, me, me, me. And that is why when you really peel the layers of the onion back on narcissism, you understand that when you were in that narcissistic relationship, you didn't know what you do know now. And now that you do know what it is, you can see the signs in a future person that you perhaps will or won't enter a relationship with. If there's red flags, you can identify these and you can trust your instincts, your intuition, and you can run for the hills if you see a couple red flags, because we no longer give people 1, 2, 3, 15 chances to change. We now give them one chance, maybe two. But whatever you want to do, you're doing it on your timeline, and you are allowing people in your life. You are not being subservient to a person who is taking advantage of you and draining all of your resources from you day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. That's what the narcissist does. And now that we understand who we are and we're changed forever, or we are changing forever and we are healing, we realize that no matter what we did in that narcissistic relationship, it would never be enough, because the narcissist can't change. They won't appreciate anybody. They're always looking over their shoulder for all the skeletons that they have in their closet, all the lives they've blown up and all the relationships they've blown up. They always have one foot in the relationship and one foot out the door. They're always looking for the next new shiny object, for the next new person. They are not going to be accountable. They're going to continue to lie, cheat, steal, do whatever they can do, and they're going to continue to drift through life any which way the wind blows to the next person, i.e. the new supply, who can elevate them to the next plateau of their life. This is what the narcissist does. This is their nature, and they can't change. They only deteriorate over time, which means they turn into whom? That's right, they turn into the aging narcissist, and the aging narcissist is not, and I repeat, not a pretty sight to see. They are a nasty human being, and they are full of hatred and full of jealousy, and they're full of possibilities of faking people and blaming people for their life's failed experiences, etc. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it. From the beautiful Carolinas, this is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. God bless you. I love you. You are not alone. Remember, where you are today is not where you will be in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, and in 12 months. Continue on the path, moving forward each and every day, and understand you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. And you are the beautiful, bright, shining light. You are not a source of supply. A supply source is, like I said in one of my videos, it's wipes or towels or Kleenex or Clorox. That's not you. You're a beautiful, bright, shining light. You're a human being. You're abundant, you're radiant, you're elevating higher than you ever thought possible, and you are leaving the narcissist and any people from that period of time in the past. That is the path. Understand, it will never be enough. For the narcissist in the past, present, or future, no matter who they're with or what they're doing, it will never be enough. They will always be looking for a new shiny object and for a new relationship, and they'll always be looking to inflict as much damage on the current source of supply as they possibly can. So everyone, that's the video. I love you all. God bless you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Yeah.